good evening, and welcome to the CASAA update for the week of 4/18/2016. Home again, Alex?
Home again.
Yay! I
Yeah,
don't want to... God.
it's been a busy couple of weeks with the travel and other stuff while on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I could ask you what's new and exciting this week, but yeah. So what is new and exciting this week, Alex?
I got to see Alex. I got to talk with Alex and Ron. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's always good to see Jeannie, and thank you again for helping actually with our panel. We had a kind of a big panel actually at Vape Bash in Chicago, and see who we have. We had Will Cohen from Vape was on there. Grim Green was on the panel. We had Amy Lane from Indiana, who's working to put together a new industry association in Indiana. We had Tony Abood from VTA, the Vapor Technology Association. Let's see, Ron Ward was on there. Oh man, there was a lot. Myself, Evan McMahon, and somebody sitting between. Jason Downing from Not Blowing Smoke was also on there. So we had Go ahead.
I hope somebody filmed it. That's all.
There was somebody.
Yeah, Chopin. That's Chopin from VP Live or from Vape TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think a couple of people were working the cell phones, and it was a good panel, honestly. Very small room for what we should have had. Right. I think in years past, it's kind of just been a CASAA kind of thing, right. And it doesn't really get a whole lot of attendance. But this year, given the experiences over the past few events, we decided to kind of open it up to pretty much, all the organizations that were, if anybody was just kind of hanging out, we grabbed them and said, hey, come be on the panel.
Right.
Funny thing was one of the hotel employees walked by when we were standing there, and he said, well, you guys could have had a bigger room. And I said, well, that would have been good information an hour ago.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, we were in there for a good 2 hours. So yeah, there were a lot of good questions, and again, thanks Jeannie for kind of helping to steer the conversation. Yeah, and obviously, people were you're in Illinois, so you're a neighbor. Your neighbor is Indiana. There were lots of questions. There were some good questions, some good discussion about Indiana. Honestly, that could have been its own kind of breakout session. Lots of people in Indiana are very concerned about what's going to happen come July 1st. And I had seen some kind of brief updates about one of the lawsuits today. I'm not going to get into it because that's not really my wheelhouse, but information is starting to come out about the lawsuits in terms of how things are going. So if you're curious, you can find it definitely on the Facebook.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a good event. It was a good time. I like that place. Hopefully we'll go back next year.
Nice.
And a bigger room next year.
Yeah, we'll definitely get a bigger room, and I like that format. It's been working really well with the past few events where you have basically representatives from the landscape of different advocacy efforts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
gonna get right down to it.
Yeah, well, I guess at the top of the list is our recent call to action that went out today. And just to clear up some confusion in case anybody is still curious about how this works, this is the House Appropriations Committee that we're communicating with here. And it's excuse me, it's one of those things where this is best for lawmakers to hear from their constituents. This is not something that we're opening up to the entire country. So we have limited participation to people living in districts represented by somebody who is a member of the committee. We've been getting lots of messages throughout the day, people trying to participate, and they get a message saying that no recipients were found. If that's the case, then that means that you don't have a representative on the Appropriations Committee. Or your address is just weird. That has happened before. It's very, very, very rare, but it has happened before. So, hold on a second.
Okay.
So, what we are asking for, and I'm trying to talk about this without any spoilers here, but simply put, we are asking for the committee to entertain an amendment to the Appropriations Bill that has language in it which would change the predicate date for newly deemed tobacco products. This is the same kind of language as last year. Right. I say kinda because it's not the exact same language. There is a lot more to it than just changing the predicate date.
Right.
But it is that is the main thing that we're looking for. Is the change the predicate date for vapor products to the date when the FDA deeming regulations are finalized.
Which makes sense. It's a good start. It makes sense. It's better than being left with the, what was it, 2007 predicate date?
Yes.
That would have been
February 15th, 2007. And just to kind of, and also, you know, part of the message that we're asking people to send is a very, very important point, that this date change does not prevent the FDA from regulating these products. It just means that we have products that get to stay on the market and can act as a predicate for innovative, you know, changes to the products, or, you know, people needing to go through the substantial equivalency pathway.
Sure.
The FDA still has the authority and the ability to regulate manufacturing standards, ingredients, and other things that they might want to dip their grubby little hands into. So, you know, the way that our opponents are looking at this is that this weakens their authority to regulate these products. But really what we're asking for is no different than what was afforded to cigarette companies when the Food, Drug, and Cosmetics Act was amended back in 2009. So those are just very important talking points, because I believe someone had posted, I can drop the link in your chat here, a letter from 31 health groups urge Congress to reject appropriations proposals to weaken FDA oversight of e-cigarettes, cigars. That from everybody's friends at the American Lung Association. There's the link.
Gotta love them.
Yeah.
Don't. I know. I was being sarcastic.
So, the The committee meets tomorrow. I believe, according to this American Lung Association letter, they're going to start working at 10:30 in the morning on this bill. So hopefully we get some news tomorrow. This is one of those huge kind of bills, so I don't even know if it's going to be, if there's going to be enough hours in the day for them to get to this tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what we get out of this committee hearing tomorrow. But this week, this is the big week. This is happening. So still encouraging people to send emails and make phone calls.
Yes.
We'll be sending out a reminder tomorrow with phone numbers, so you don't have to look stuff up.
Nice.
So that is at the federal level. I guess I should probably follow up with the FAA bill as well. This was an answer that I gave at the panel that we had. The complicated answer, which is really the only answer, to kind of clear the air a little bit, is that last week we had some posts that were saying, this amendment is dead, yay. In reality, what happened was debate on a particular amendment was closed.
Okay.
Blumenthal's FAA language was an amendment to that amendment, but the bill itself, HR 636, which is the FAA Reauthorization Act, which is a must-pass kind of thing, that bill is still going through the process of being amended. It's still an open target.
So it's not dead yet.
It's not dead yet. Nothing ever really dies until it gets signed into law. And there are other rules, of course, that apply, but generally it's just a good idea to say, until it's out of whatever house and on whoever's desk waiting for a signature, it's still kind of a target. That's just a general rule of thumb. That's not accurate by any stretch of the imagination, but just as a general rule of thumb, that's kind of a good way to look at things. So yes, HR 636 is still open to being amended, and Blumenthal's language is still out in the world. So we, for a brief period of a couple hours, actually, from the time that I left Newark to the time I landed in Chicago, our call to action was sort of on pause, and then once I landed, it was open back up again. So it's still active, and we're still, kind of mildly encouraging people to send an email and make a phone call to their senators, urging them to oppose this language. So yeah, that's that. Okay. And one of the reasons why, there was a quick on and off with that engagement. And one of the reasons is that when you get word that, things aren't moving, or this bill is things are quieting down and a lot of people are convinced it's a bad idea, you sort of want to turn off the spigot if you can, to not kind of further pester people. Right. It's one thing to generate a lot of participation up front, but once you kind of got confirmation that people have agreed with you, you don't want to keep kind of coming up and bugging them. It's really just a matter of courtesy, I think. So that's sort of the pressure to kind of call something resolved, if you will. Sure. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. I believe that takes care of the two federal issues. And since I was in Chicago, is appropriate that we have a little bit of an update for Illinois. SB 3011, which is the Tobacco 21 bill in Illinois, goes to the Senate floor this week. I should probably send out a reminder about that, but Just the I don't want to get into details. If you're in Illinois and you haven't taken action on it, please by all means send an email, make a phone call to your Illinois senator. That is helpful. But I will say that Vicky Vasconcelos, a member of our board of advisors and someone who's been very active in standing up for access to these products for a while now, yes, has been working very hard on this issue, and it sounds like she has been doing a very good job. And so lots of thanks to her. Also, Tony Aboud from the Vapor Technology Association. He is actually a lobbyist in Illinois and has been working very closely with lawmakers on this. So two very competent and experienced people working hard on that issue. And awesome. I am hopeful for a good outcome on that bill. Awesome. I'm pretty sure that I'm forgetting something. I came home last night and I spent about 15 minutes on the vaporing and decided that I wanted to not do any vapor anything for the rest of the night. So I may have overlooked some things. But for now, those are the three really big issues. And again, just a special thanks for Vape Bash for having us out again. And I really enjoyed the weekend and got to meet a bunch of really great people, and really looking forward to doing it again at the next one that those guys put on, and in Chicago next year.
Awesome. So.
Oh.
Okay.
I did just remember. Sorry. The Tobacco Harm Reduction Conference in Brooklyn is this week. Yes. That is April 21st. If you are in town, it is at the Sheraton in Brooklyn, like downtown Brooklyn. I believe, well, you should just Google Sheraton in Brooklyn, and if you're in the area, you can find the closest subway stop really easy. Like all the subway stops are 2 or 3 blocks away from the event, and it's pretty easy to get to. So if you're in the area or planning to travel to New York this week, put it on your schedule. You can find out about it. Just Google THR Conference Brooklyn, and you'll find all the information that you need. Julie Wessner will be presenting. Brian Carter is coming as well. I can't remember if he's presenting or not. So Julie, Brian, myself will be there. Awesome. Dr. Michael Siegel is also present. Ricardo Pelosa, I believe, is also presenting. Pelosa is on our Dr. Pelosa is on our board of advisors.
Yeah.
So a good group of people with lots of good information, and I'm sure it will be absolutely worth your time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you go get caught up on Game of Thrones or something.
I don't think it's out yet.
I don't know.
I have to get caught up on the vaporing now.
Oh, okay. Well, go relax. Enjoy your time at home. And thank you for everything you do for us, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.
See you next week, maybe.